Hi everybody, welcome back to Sprocket Man Designs. Hope you all had a splendid festive period and a new year and all that malarkey. What you see in front of you is part of a layout for an idea I've had for yet another clock face. I seem to be in that mode at the moment. It's not all where it should be, because what I intend to do once all this is joined together, because it is all just loose, I'll be taking these part sprockets, because I've cut them in half, welding them into position sort of there-ish. In fact, if I've put it in the right place it will give you a better idea. So that will sort of sit there, and then I'll be taking these 11 tooth sprockets and welding them into the middle there, if all goes according to plan. Now I've said it, of course it's all going to go seriously sideways. All I've done so far, other than lay it up, chopped, I think it was about a 37 tooth sprocket in half, so that will sit either side. Two smaller sprockets to fill in these gaps, because I don't like them, and I think I'm happy with it that way around. I had toyed with sitting these that way around with that one in there, but it just looked, I don't know, too samey. So yeah, that's pretty much why I did away with that idea. Next part of the plan is to take my beloved angle grinder and just take back these notches, so hopefully that sprocket will sit into the gap there. I may have to go at them 2 or 3 times to keep taking it back, but I'd rather do it a little bit at a time, and then with a bit of luck create the right shaped arc for that to just sit into, and then I'll be able to weld it into position in there so the two arcs match up. It will be quite a neat scene. Of course, the next part of my workings out will be, how in the hell am I going to do this? Now let's try it from there. Let's move that so I don't end up taking on more iron than I need, even though it's steel. You know what I mean. It's nearly there. I think I might need to get a new grinding disc. That poor old thing is, I think, dying. That, you know, is pretty not bad at all. Right, so I've just got to achieve that on the other 3. get the these 11 tooth sprockets cleaned up, get these cleaned up, and then I can tack those together ready. Good grief, I think it's going to work. Do I need to take a little bit more out of that corner? Feel like it's an arc. Oh, while I think about it, the two clocks I made in previous videos were very well received by the young ladies I made them for. I'm really pleased, and I've been sent pictures of them up in their bedrooms and with happy grinning recipients in the foreground. But you'll not be seeing those pictures because they're family photos. Right, onwards. It's just occurred to me I've got on with doing this and I haven't put on my ear defenders, which explains why my ears are ringing. Silly sprocket. That was almost easy. So that's those bits done. Now it's just going to be a case of swap the grinding wheel for a flap wheel, start cleaning everything up, ready for welding. I have no idea what that is or where that came from. Right, okay, first things third, kill the power to the grinder. Always advisable when you start messing around with them. So the flap wheel I'm using is a 120 grit, so it's not too aggressive. And it will just bring everything up to a nice shiny finish. As for what colour it will ultimately end up, at the moment, for reasons I can't adequately explain, I really want to do it in black and get probably a fairly simple mechanism, probably a black one, and then if I can, bright red hands, because I think that would look really nice. But that's going to be a wait and see thing, I think. So helps if you turn the power back on once you swap the might just give that one more quick whiz over so I can be really happy with it. Although, if I'm... Nah, it's only going to be dark enough to... clean enough to take a colour. This is going to be me for the next 20 minutes, possibly longer. I doubt you want to just watch this for the next 20 minutes, so what I will do is... Ooh, look at the way the heat from cutting it's changed the... Anyway, sorry, got distracted by shiny. Yep. I will pause the camera for now, bring it back when it's time to start assembling. See you in a bit, guys. Okay, so as you can see, much grinding and cleaning up has taken place. I have welded one small component together, mostly to see whether it would work, and there you go. As you can see, it's attached. So the face that will be on the front will look like that, so you can see the teeth overlapping the inner radius of the bigger sprocket. What I did have to do, much to my surprise, I will be honest with you, is when I went to clamp that one up, I was struggling to get a good hold on the bench top with it using this clamp. Ultimately I ended up cutting away a lip on the front of the bench top, just so the clamp itself could fit better and more securely. But you know, you have to modify these things to make them work sometimes, and as I turned it into a bench top from whatever it used to be, I can't remember anymore. So that's where we're at. So you can hear the welder humming away in the background. All I've got to do is, there we go. Right, let's see if we can weld a bit more together. That feels pretty good. Actually, that's better than the first one. Right, so there's 2 more of those to go. Now, if you're wondering why I'm pushing that back under there, it's basically to set the outer edge at the same height as the inner one, so once it's welded it'll effectively be flat. Otherwise you run the risk of it causing the smaller sprockets to create a concave shape, which is not what I wanted. It's a bit too long. Better. This would work so much easier if I put my glasses on so I could see more clearly, wouldn't it? Yeah, that makes a difference. Right, put my glasses on and all they're doing is steaming up. Mind you, it is a tropical 1 degree outside. Okay, so this will be the last one of these quarter pieces. I've then just got to plot out exactly how I want to tack this one together. At the moment, I'll be quite honest, I keep changing my mind. I've looked at it 6 different ways, and as I say, I just keep changing my mind with it. Okay, let's see whether I'm happy with that one. Be a pain if I'm not. Yep, they've all come out lovely. So, it's decision time, I think. Yeah, pleased with those. I had to be pleased with something I did, give me a break. Actually, by grinding the corner off that there, it gives that contact point a better grip as well. Why didn't I think of that earlier? Why didn't I start thinking earlier? Okay. If you're wondering what I'm doing off camera at the moment, I am setting a reminder. Well, I'm setting an alarm, technically, to remind me that I've got to go and do one of these Zoom or Teams meeting things in a bit. And if I don't set this, I will probably carry on tinkering about and having fun without paying any real attention to what's going on outside. When I said it would take me 20 minutes or so to grind all this lot back, it actually took me well over an hour, but I was having so much fun I didn't notice. Mrs. Boss did wonder where I'd been and what I'd been up to. Yeah. Okay. So, I think what I might do with this is go with my original idea and just tack 5 points round. I will have to move my clamp to do the final, but that way I can get into the biggest space. Once it's done, I'll probably just skim over it with my grinder just to flatten it out, so when it comes to mounting the clock mechanism there won't be any uneven lumps and bumps to make the mechanism sit at an angle. I suppose at some point I'll have to measure up and see how. Worry about that in a minute. So, without too much more fuss, I suppose I should get on. Now I've made my decision. Best to do it while you're thinking about it, eh? I don't know why that one didn't want to go, so if at first you don't succeed, change the rules. And that, with a bit of luck, will hold together. There is in fact only one way to find out. Yeah, a little bit of a clean up. Well, that was a little bit of a clean up, but it worked. Okay. That will all buff up again, so I'm not too concerned about that. The next thing I've got to weld onto this is going to be what the mechanism will actually bolt into. I've already taken the liberty of lining it up once. So all I've got to do now, is get it, my markings to pretty much line up so it's central. A bit like that. Okay. Happy days, I've got it dead centre. Right, so all I'm going to do with this is I will skim over that with the grinder. I'll soon find out if my welding's up to it. Although now I say that, I might chuck in a couple of extra spots just for good measure. Yeah, let's do that. If you're wondering why I'm not using my C-clamp now, I don't need to hold it flat because it's all joined together. So all I need to do is give it a quick wipe so it's got a cleaner contact area. Whoops. One cleaner contact area. and that'll do. It's tough luck if it won't. Luckily for me, I've managed to keep all that weld on the right side of the sprocket, so just got to skim a few of these down. And then skim over that. Okay. And then start working out how I'm going to join all these other bits together, which will be a job for a different day, I think. Okay, first things third. Oops. Doesn't help when you turn the lights off, does it? So, at the moment I've got a cutting disc on my grinder, which isn't going to serve the purpose required. Mind you, when I discovered I had to cut a bit out of my bench, I actually tried to make the initial cut using the flap wheel because I forgot to check what was in it before I switched it on and just pushed it against the bench. Funnily enough, it didn't work very well. Yeah, still got yeah. The last sprocket I've got to weld onto here. Why am I gazing at this lot thinking I've misplaced a part? There's those. There's those. There's one of that. There should be another one somewhere. Right. Go hunting for that in a minute. Ah, there it is, right in front of my face. Yeah, so this final sprocket has got to be tacked on. Oops, daisy. It's got to be tacked on that way up. I'm just got to get the spacing exactly right so it's even all the way round. Whack it on. And that will be the clock face done. Now there is something very weird going on in my ears. Right, okay, so mentioning ears. Okay, so just popping on the flap wheel now. Quick whiz over the washer I've just welded on. The rest of it will clean up just with a bit of rag, and then start working out how to attach all these other components. What I'm now going to do is, I've got an almost worn out flap wheel here. Officially this is coarser than the one I'm using, but because it has done so much mileage, it's almost been polished smooth, and I'm just hoping it'll give me a slightly more refined finish. Now you might wonder why I'm taking so much trouble over this centre with that. I'm hoping once the powder coat is on, and I will have to confirm this with the gods at Spray Quick, it'll just, the very slightly more refined texture will almost shine through the powder coat, if you will. So that's going to be a bit of a wait and see, but okay, right, I'm really happy with that. That's where I'm going to end for today, mostly because of what is about to follow is a lot of standing around scratching my head. It's just occurred to me to clean it. I don't need to clean it up. The other thing I've decided to do with this clock is where I would normally get it, it's close to being an even colour right the way across as I could, because I've decided to make this the second one that I've coloured. I really shouldn't need to fuss about it as much as I am doing, but excuse me, but I can't. Because knowing me, if I say, oh, I'm not going to do that, I'll probably change my mind at the last possible second. Right, happy with that. So, onto the more advanced plotting and planning stage now, because I've really got to work out how best to put the outer sprockets on. I suppose the first question should be, am I going to Would it be easier to weld those onto just that back one and then add the others, and then add the big one onto that in one hit so it's one complete item? Or do I attach this on here now, and then work out how to attach those onto this? Decisions. It would help if I was good at making them. I cannot decide. So at this point, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to step away from the welding before I do something I regret. Right, make a pig's ear of it. But I've got that lined up there, so I am tempted to just drop a magnet on it, hold it all in place and get it done. Anyway, you'll find out what I decide in the next video. Thanks for watching. As usual, thanks to all the guys from Sprayquick, Machine Mart, and my mate Becky for her continued support. Feel free to like and subscribe. As I say, any suggestions, comments, fire away please. Look forward to hearing from you. Take it easy, guys.